How to crack bits within a day. In this video, I'm going to be telling you exactly how to do that. Now, before I get straight into the point, you need to understand the basics of this exam. If you think you know the basics, you can directly skip to the timestamp over here. Now, coming to the basics of this exam, first we have is cutoff. If you look at this over here, you can see the bits cutoff for 2024 year, that is last year. In this you can see for both Pilani campus and Goa campus. Now the highest cutoff you got over here is for CS, that is 327. If you got about 327 out of 390, you would get into Pilani campus. But for the lowest cutoff to get into the campus, that's for B pharmacy, that is 165 out of 390. The same thing with Goa campus we have here is CS has the highest cutoff, that is 301 marks out of 390, and bioscience has the lowest, that is 234 marks. Now these cutoffs are last year, and this year cutoffs will also be similar to them. Now that we know the cutoffs for this exam, we can now understand the basics of this exam. The basics of this exam are over here.
Can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming?
I've made a chart over here regarding the basics of this exam. In this chart, you can see these are the subjects that are there in this exam, and these are the questions for each subject that are coming for this exam. Now here is the recommended time you need to spend on each section, so then you can complete the exam within time, and even might have some extra questions. Like if you complete all 130 questions within time, you get 12 extra questions that are split into physics, chemistry and maths slash bio. It's like that. Now here in this exam, the main thing is, if your answer is correct, you get plus 3 marks, and if your answer is wrong, you get minus 1 marks. And these are 180 minutes. 180 minutes is 3 hours. So basically you get 3 hours to complete 130 questions of this exam. Now here is per question. In physics you need to spend around 80 seconds or 1.3 minutes. For chemistry it's 70 seconds. For maths it's 1.5 minutes, 90 seconds per question. In English we have to spend around 1 minute per question since there are 10 questions. And logical reasoning you need to spend around 1.25 minutes or 75 seconds per question. Now that we understood the basics of this exam, we can now come into the points on how to crack this exam within a day.
Nights and bright stars through the
Coming to the points of this video, we have points over here. Now the first point you need to remember is aim. To crack this exam, you need to first create a aim. You need to have the aim. The aim should be to get above 300 marks. 300 plus marks. You can either aim for 300 plus marks or even 390, that is full or full. Your aim should be the highest, then only you can work on to achieve it. After you create a aim, because as you have seen in the cutoffs, most of the cutoffs, if you get about 300 only, you have a better chance for getting in Goa campus. And if you want CS, you can even get that with 300 plus. Now coming to the second point of this video, the second point is solve. What do I mean by solve? I mean is that after this point, I'm going to be giving you strategies on how to crack this exam within a day. But what should you give the first preference for? The first preference you should be giving for is to the knowledge that you have, what you have studied till now. In the exam, what you need to do is, you need to answer all the questions that you know. Like before applying the strategies, you need to answer whatever you know. So after answering all of them, then you can apply the strategies that I'm going to present you. In this video, before I come to the third point, you need to understand one thing, okay? That is 33% to 40% accuracy. The strategies I'm going to be giving you will help you with the questions to get 33% to 40% accuracy. What I mean by 33% is, if you use the strategies on 3 questions, you can get 1 question correct. And in this exam, 40% accuracy means if you solve 5 questions, you get 2 questions correct. And if you get suppose coming to the first one, if you get 1 question correct, that is plus 3 marks, and 2 questions wrong, that is minus 1, you for sure will get plus 1 mark because it cancelled the other ones out. So that will help you. Now coming to this one, if you use the strategies on 5 questions and you get 2 of them correct and 3 of them wrong, that is plus 3 plus 3 minus 1 minus 1 minus 1. You get this as 6 minus 3, that is 3 marks for sure. Now, the strategies I'm going to be giving you in this video will help you get these marks for sure, because using the strategies is better than not knowing anything. Now coming to the strategies of this video, that is the third point. Strategies. In this video, the first strategy I'm going to be presenting you over here is PCI. PCI has a full form, pick choice in between. If you would have seen my previous videos on this channel, you would have idea of this strategy because I have shown this in my previous videos also. PCI means pick choice in between. I'm going to explain it to you by a simple example over here. Now, if you look at this example, you can see that in this example, don't read the question, okay? You just have to look at the answer choices. Now, in the answer choices, you have them in arranging order. Like, you see 0, 13.4, 20.4 and 24.6. Now, the lowest value over here is 0 and the highest value over here is 24.6. You need to eliminate the lowest and the highest value. And the between choices that are 13.4 and 20.4, the answer will always lie in between them. Now the probability of you getting it correct is 50-50. Now I chose A as randomly, and the 50-50 chance I got it correct, and that's the correct answer. Now I'm going to show you second example over here. In this example, if you look at it, you can see that in the answer choices, you have an arranging order, that is 1 second, 1.5 seconds, 2 seconds and 3 seconds. As I have told you before, eliminate the lowest and the highest value, that is 1 second and 3 seconds. Now you have two choices, that is B and C, that is 1.5 seconds and 2 seconds. In that, you need to randomly choose one. The probability of you getting that correct is 50-50. I have chosen B over here and I gotten it correct. Now I'm going to be showing you a third example, and you should try this on your own. Just pause the video and then try what I'm telling you to do. Now I'm assuming you have tried this, and if you got the answer as C, you have gotten it correct. If your approach was correct, you should be eliminating 4 and 16, the highest and the lowest values. Then you would either have to pick B or C. Now if you picked C, you have gotten it correct. Now we are done with PCI strategy, and I'm going to present you the next strategy over here. The name of the next strategy is STA. STA strategy. STA means similar term answer. I'm going to present you with an example over here. If you look at this example, in the answer choices, you can see that you need to find a similarity between the answer choices. That's why it's called similar term answer. Now in similar term answer, just look at the terms, okay, of each choice. If you look at this carefully, you can see that in root 2 is there in both C and D, but A and B don't have anything in common. Only root 2 is there in C and D. Root 2 is there in C and D, okay. And I plus J is there in all B, C and D. But root 2 is only common in C and D. Now the probability of the answer being C and D is more because they have something in common. And now the chance of you getting the question correct are 50-50. I randomly chose C over here and I got an answer correct. Similarly, I'm going to present you this example over here. Just look at this carefully. Look at the answer choices only. In the answer choices, you could see that Q by 4 is there in all of them. Now you need to find something which is similar in only some of them. If you look carefully, you can see that A and B don't have anything else similar. But C and D over here have 1 plus 2 root 2. 1 plus 2 root 2 is there in C, and 1 plus root 2 is there in D. So they have 1 plus and root 2. Those two are there in C and D. And q by 4. Q by 4 is there in only C and D. Even if A and B have 1 plus and root 2, they don't have q by 4. Because A has minus q by 4 over here. You just need to find the one which is more similar. If you look at it carefully, you can understand that C and D have q by 4, definitely similar, and 1 plus and root 2. Now, since there are more similarities, you only need to focus on them two, and you need to pick one correct. That is 50-50 chance you have, and I picked C over here and I got it correct. Now that you understood this, I'm assuming I'm giving you this question. Just pause the video and try. I'm assuming you have tried this question. Now, if your approach is correct, you need to look for the similar terms, right? Over here, minus 8 and plus 8 is there in the first part. That is, B and C have minus 8 and plus 8. Even though D has 8 in it, but it's in the second term, right? In first term, only B and C have 8 in it. One is minus, one is plus. Now, and even in second term, they have 1 and 1. That is, in B and C, that is there. Now the chance of it being B or C is 50-50 again. And if you randomly pick C over here, your answer is correct. See, the probability is reduced from 1 by 4 to 1 by 2. And that's what I'm trying to tell you over here. And all these questions I have tried separately. And in most of them, I'm getting them correct by using this method. That's why I'm sharing it in this video. I recommend you to do a mock test and apply all the strategies I'm going to be telling you in this video. And then see how many marks you're getting. Now that we are done with this strategy, I'm going to be telling you about the next strategy, that is SWA. SWA means similar word answers. Similar word answer meaning, if you look at this example over here, this strategy is similar to STA, that is similar term answer and similar word answer. They both are like almost exactly similar. But in similar word answer, you have to look at the words basically. If you look at this over here, look at the options, okay, the answer choices, and try finding the most common word. The most common word you can find is solution. Solution is in A, B and C, but D doesn't have it. So you need to eliminate D over here. Now you only have A, B and C. You need to try finding more common words. If you look at this over here, you can see boiling point is also there in all three of them. Elevation of is also there in all three of them. Now since we can't exactly tell which is similar, the answer choices over here you can find is A, B and C have chances of being the answer. Now the probability here didn't come as 50-50, it came as 33%. Now these are some exception questions, okay? In some of these questions you either get 50-50% or 33%. I mean that's still better than 1 by 4, right? Now over here you need to randomly choose one. The probability of you getting that correct is 1 by 3. I mean it's still better than 1 by 4. I chose A over here and I got it correct. Now you need to expect these kind of questions. If you look at this question over here, in this question just look at the answer choices again. In first term you find that 3, 2, 4 and 1 are there, like in up to down order in A, B, C and D in first term, okay. Now coming to the second term, you can see in B 2 and 3 are there, and in A in the second term 2 is there. You just need to find in which slot which is there. Like over here, if you see in B, it's matching with most of the answers because B has most of the answers that are common with A. Like you just need to compare it, okay? Just look at the top one, look at the bottom one, the answer choices, and then see which one matches with which one. Over here, if you look at this properly, you can see that B and C have 3 as common in the second term, and A and B have 4 as common in the last term, that is fourth term. Now since B is matching with both A and C, now you almost have 100%, you can say that B is the answer. And this applies to most of the questions. I have picked B as the answer and I got it correct. Now here is a question for you. Just pause the video and then try it. I'm assuming you have tried this question, and in this question, you just need to compare the similar words, right? Now, if you look at A and B carefully, in the middle term, that is root 2 is there in both A and B, but it's not there in C and D in the middle term. Because in A and B only root 2 is there in middle term. And in the third term, 1 by root 2 is common in both A and B. Now, which two have the most common? That is A and B have the most common over here. Now you can like 100% tell that answer is either A or B. And if you like randomly pick, that's 50-50 chance again. Now I have picked A over here and I gotten it correct. Now we are done with this method. Last method, our last strategy is DBTS. DBTS translates to don't be too simple. Don't be too simple means if you look at this question over here, you can see that in this question, the answer choices D is different from all of A, B, and C. And I would need to tell you this thing. Wherever there's none of the above, there's like almost 90% chance that that isn't the answer. So other answers will be the answer, not none of the above. And none of the above is like none of these is like completely different. Like looking at the answer only, you can tell that it looks different from A, B, and C. Now the answer being none of these is like almost 0%. So A, B, and C, you need to choose one randomly. That is 33.3% chance of it getting it correct. Now if you choose A randomly, that's the answer. Now I mean that's still better than 1 by 4, right? Now just try this question over here. Use the same method. I'm assuming you've tried this question. Over here also, D looks completely different from A, B, and C. Now the answer being D is like, very low. So you need to pick something from A, B, and C. And if you picked B, you would have gotten this correct. The probability of you picking that is 33.33%. So yeah. Now coming to the last strategy, that is DNA. DNA translates to do not attempt. So these are some types of questions that you shouldn't attempt, okay? Over here, in this question, if you can look at the answer choices, you can't like join any two because all of them look different. Like 1 by 10 root of m by h and 1 by 10 root of h by m. These two A and B have something common you would think at first. But if you look at B and C, I mean B and D, they also have something in common. So you can't literally like sort something out. Over here the probability of you getting it correct is 1 by 4. Because you can't literally group anything because two of them have similar and two other two also have similar. Here's another question of do not attempt. So if you find these types of questions, you shouldn't attempt. Like look at the answer choices. In this also you can't sort any two answer choices. Like 1 and minus 1 are there. Even C and D seem to have something similar. But if you look, it's just plus and negative. Even A and B also have that similar. So you can't basically tell anything out of it. Even in this question, if you look, you can observe it yourself. You can't literally differentiate between the options. They all could be, anything could be the answer in them. So these are the types of questions you shouldn't attempt if you don't know, because if you do, you will lose marks from the other strategies that you gain marks. So these questions will minus those marks. Now that we are done with all the strategies, I would like to tell you about English. In English, sometimes people have difficulties with this vocabulary. In vocabulary, people don't understand like the meanings of words. Suppose you come across such types of questions, the strategy you need to use is NSWA. NSWA means non-similar word answer. Non-similar word answer is correctly opposite of SWA, similar word answer. Like these two are opposite. Because non-similar word answer meaning, suppose, look at this question over here. Look at the answer choices. In the answer choices, like just try, precaution, risk, and danger. They three seem similar, but safety seems different. Now, since this is safety isn't similar with precaution, risk, or danger, the probability of that being the answer is 100%. And you can try this in all the questions, and you can see like the answer is correct. Try for this question. If you got the answer as disappeared, you're correct. Because over here, what you need to do is Opposite of similar word answers. Over here, whatever word seems different, that is the answer. And that's how it is. Now that we have discussed all the strategies of the how to crack bits within one day, I'm going to summarize you like a quick summarize of everything. Starting off with points. Points is aim. First you need to build a aim. You need to aim for at least 300 plus marks or 390. I would recommend 390. Just aim for the full marks. Okay. After that you need to solve. Solve meaning when you get the paper, you need to just solve questions on your own. Just whatever questions you know, just go through everything and then solve. Before using these strategies, you need to give preference to solving the paper. Now while solving, you will get some marks, like you get some X marks, okay, and then after that you can't solve anything. These strategies will give you marks like X plus, yeah. So these strategies over here will give you more marks. Now coming to the strategies of this video, PCI means pick choice in between. Over here you need to eliminate the lowest and the highest choice, and you need to pick the in between choice, that is in between. So you have 50-50 chance of getting it correct. Now the next strategy is STA. STA means similar type answers. Similar term answers, my bad. Yeah. STA means similar term answers. Similar term answers meaning the terms in the answer choices, you need to look which of them have more similarities. You need to choose between them. That is 50-50%, and you have 50% of getting it correct. Now coming to the next strategy, that is SWA. SWA means similar word answers. This is same, almost similar to similar term answers. In similar word answers, you need to look at the answer choices and which of them have the most similar words. You need to choose between them. That is 50-50 again. So you have 1/2 chance of getting it correct. After that we have DBTS. DBTS means don't be too simple. Suppose you have 4 options in which one of them is completely different. Like the answer choices are 1, 2, root 2 and then 3. So root 2 is completely different from 1, 2 and 3, right? Now that is completely different, so you can eliminate it. And 1, 2 and 3, the answer choices could be anything. Understood? Like that's what similar word answers is. That's what don't be too simple is. Now coming to the last strategy, that is DNA. I have shown you a few questions that you shouldn't attempt, and even if the questions don't apply to any of these strategies, just don't risk it, okay? Just apply the ones that are similar to these strategies over here. After that, strategy for English I have told is the words that seem similar, those won't be the answer. The word that doesn't seem similar to the other answer choices is the answer. That is NSWA strategy. Now for logical reasoning, here's an additional tip. Now if you have logical reasoning questions, okay, it's either blood relations. So if you have blood relation questions, you need to just make lines like this, and that will make solving those kind of questions easier for you. After that we have series. Series meaning those questions will be related to series. That is A, B, C like that till Z, okay. Most of the time you need to write again A, B, C, D in opposite, that is till Z, and then in the series you need to choose this one for A, and answer would be in these kind of questions basically. And that's it for this video. This is how you can crack bits within a day. All the best.